At this time, I recognize Representative Carey for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you. I want to thank the chair and the ranking member. Doctor, I'm going to start with you. Of course, knowing where you're from, I have to start off with OH. All right. We all know that the public trust in Congress is much lower than we would like it to be, and that continues to be a cause of concern. But I was struck by the survey finding that 70% of respondents are willing to engage more directly with elected officials on important issues. Now, to me, that's a positive sign. Now, you mentioned deliberative town halls and as an effective form of two-way engagement. At this time, could you talk maybe a little bit more how those might work?
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. The real difference there are a few differences in deliberative town halls. One of them is that as if we were doing a survey, we try to get a real random sample of the entire constituency and affirmatively and personally invite them. And it turns out that it could seem like there's a contradiction. Citizens saying they don't think members care what they think, and yet they want to engage, right? And the distinction is that when the member affirmatively reaches out and says, no, really, I want to hear what you have to say, how does Tuesday at 7 sound? The citizen says, oh, okay, they're one of the good ones. It's very, very fragile, very, very easy to get them to believe that you do care. And that's where the apathy frustration difference is really important. So affirmatively inviting a very broad sample. And the broad sample also tremendously alters the dynamics. Your average constituent does not want to yell at you. Your average constituent hasn't even necessarily made up his or her mind on the issue. They're not there to necessarily give you a piece of their mind. They want to hear what you have to say before making up their mind, which is why this interactive dialogue is so valuable. You get to hear from them about their concerns, their values, their questions, but they actually want to hear from you too, right? So we do a survey beforehand. These are real field experiments, so there's also a control group that we survey. People attend, and then there's a survey usually about 2 weeks later of everybody again. The forums are online on a secure platform. We're building a bespoke platform that's very, very easy to use. Will be linked to the 14 most spoken languages in the United States. My grandfather was illiterate, so we have oral versions. We have real-time captioning for the hearing impaired. So we're very serious about trying to really, any enfranchised citizen should be able to talk to their member of Congress.
And I appreciate that, and I'm going to be cutting short on time here. Now, there is, of course, you've seen this, you've all seen this in the press, there's a real concern about member safety. I think that we on this committee, on House Admin, work very hard to increase the security budget of most of our members. Like many members, we've had death threats, so we now have to have a security detail, which we never thought we'd have to have before. In the two-way communication forums, are there effective ways, and I know you only have a minute, to take down the temperature from the onset of those forums?
That's really one of the most extraordinary things that we found, is that when you get a random sample, as I said, your average constituent does not want to yell at you. They don't want to throw bombs. Very quickly, we had a provision in the very first study we did, an NSF-funded project, built these. And if a question or comment was considered abusive, inciting, or vulgar, we had to pull it out. Over 1,400 questions submitted in the first round that we did. 0, not once did we have to pull it out. That tells you the difference of the people who are the frequent flyers, and some of them are great. They're active citizens. We've got to represent them too, or you have to represent them too. But The random sampling helps a lot. Online helps a lot. Moderation helps a lot. And they look around, even people who might be inclined look around, and their fellow citizens are being civil and behaving, or the members are treating each other with dignity. I'm sorry.
Doctor, I want to thank you for your time. Chair, with that, I yield back.